Hello guys and welcome back to Hey Manager, me Alex, and today we are back with the Fantasy Premier League for the 2024-25 season, and this year it's going to be special. This year I've got a feeling, last year after about 8 or 9 weeks it all went down the drain for me. Everything went wrong, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I took a gamble on Sterling, and just nothing really went well for me. Around game week 31-32 I think I started to do pretty well again. But this year, things are going to change as I'm going to really do some research into the football this year. So we're going to go through the side today and who I've chosen for my squad. So obviously, I think you'll all know FPL by now. You've got your deadline of the 16th of August, Friday the 16th of August at 6:30, because Manchester United play at 8 o'clock. The opening game of the season, they will be playing, I believe, is it Fulham? It is. It's Fulham. Sky Sports. It is on Sky Sports, live on Sky Sports. And now let's go through the goalkeeper. Let's go through the whole team, well, the team as a whole, really, of who I've chosen. So you can see here, I'll just go through it bit by bit, step by step. Flecken, we've got the man in there. I've got his stats above, but we'll just flick through a little bit of him here. You can see here he had a great year at Brentford last year. 119 points, 37 starts for him. I think Brentford, they're only going to get better. They're obviously, Ivan Toney is leaving. The defence itself was always here. They play a 5 at the back. It's pretty standard stuff. He hasn't got the greatest of fixtures. You look at the opening 8 fixtures that I like to do up until like the end of October. So you're probably looking at 9 there. It's up until October where things are a bit, you know, you want to try and have as easy a start as you can to transition back into the Premier League. He's got to play Liverpool away, City away, Spurs away, and Manchester United away. So 4 of them 8 or 9 games are very difficult ones, and then you've got obviously West Ham, Wolves, Ipswich, Southampton, Crystal Palace all at home. So you're looking maybe, you know, half of them games, it's a pretty safe bet to go with Flecken. I think he's had a great year last year. The other goalkeeper I've gone with is Christian Walton, because I watched him last year a little bit at Ipswich, because Ipswich obviously caught the attention of a lot of people, and he is very, very good. He is probably Premier League standard from last year anyway, which is why Ipswich have done so well. Their side as a whole are set up really well at the back, and I quite like the look of them, and considering, if you look at this, they've got a very difficult start, Liverpool and City, for the first 2 games of the season, but then you're playing the Fulhams, the Brightons, the Southamptons, the Evertons, even the Leicesters, who are all like 5 of them games there. If you look at the first 9 up until October, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5, 4 of the 9 are looking like relegation candidates. And West Ham, we know, weren't very good last season either. You look at Aston Villa at home. Could they potentially do something with that? I don't know. And then Southampton away, Brentford away. Again, another one that you might be able to get a result from, but it looks a pretty tidy few fixtures there. The first 9, 10. You know, the last 7 in a row there looks very, very good for Christian Walton. So I've got him in my side. Konsa, the man who went to England. He did go to England, didn't he? He went to go to the Euros. He's 4.5 million this year, which I can't quite understand. If you look at in previous years, he was 4.5 million last year. He managed to get, what was it, 91 points. He's always there and thereabouts, and he starts a lot of games. He does start because he's very versatile. He can play centre-back, he can play right-back. The only thing with this year, with the side at Aston Villa, they've got Moreno who can play left-back. They've got Matty Cash who can play left-back. They've got Maatsen who plays, I believe Maatsen plays right-back. I'll have to double-check that. I can't remember where he played in the Champions League final. I believe it was right-back. So Konsa, I don't know if he'll get a start. I know Mings is sort of out the idea now. They've obviously got, what's his name now, that Brazilian fella. I can't remember the Brazilian guy. If you look at Aston Villa here, they've got Pau Gomez, obviously, and Diego Carlos as well. That's the one. Maatsen himself, I'll have to have a look. I can't remember if he plays right back. I'm sure he plays right back. I can't see them buy another left back when they've got Digne, Cash, and Moreno. But Maatsen, I believe, plays down the right. So Konsa normally plays down the right. But as you can see here, he does actually have a lot more impact on the game than a Diego Carlos, even than a Pau Torres, who they bought in last season. So Konsa's coming to my side. Gusto, I like the idea of Gusto. I think Reece James is suspended for the first part of the season, so Gusto will be playing in there. How long is Reece James suspended for? That's the question. If you look at Chelsea here, he's suspended until the 14th of September, which is game week. It's game week 4, so he's suspended for a long, long time. So Gusto's the only other natural right back, and we saw him last year have a pretty decent year, so I've got him in there. Leif Davis. Now, you probably don't know Leif Davis, but if you watched Ipswich a bit last year, he had a phenomenal year. I mean, he's played at Leeds a bit in the past, but I think he got something silly like 18 assists last year, and he plays, I believe, left back. I think it's left back because they do have the other fellow on the other side. Is it Clark? I think they've got Clark on the right back. Yeah, they've got Clark at right back, but Davis. The contributions, another brilliant wing back that you're going to see fly this year. I think last year for Luton Town you had the fellow who played left back. Oh, I won't remember his name now. It's gone away from me, but he was fantastic. But this year I think it's going to be Leif Davis. Branthwaite is pretty self-explanatory. I think Everton, a shaky Everton, who pre-season aren't too great. I think if you look at the running they've got, Brighton, Bournemouth, Leicester Palace, Ipswich, Fulham, Newcastle at home could be a decent shout. Spurs and Villa away are the only difficult games for the start of the year. I think that's a brilliant run of games for them to start the year off, Everton, and if they can really keep it up, they'll be fantastic. You can see there's a very rough patch as you get to December, and then obviously towards the end of the season it's even worse, as you can see here. But I think Everton looks like they're going to have a decent start to the season. So Branthwaite is in there for me. Then I have Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw back from injury, he's fantastic in the Euros. I think he doesn't really have the output, and he's just a player to shove in at the moment. I think I want to see a bit more United pre-season. If he stays fit, you can see he gets the 100. He gets past the 100-point mark. He gets like 5 assists, 4 assists. For 5 million, he's pretty standard. And Luke Shaw, I think if you look at Yoro, Martinez coming in, potentially De Ligt, Dallo at right back. They've got they're bringing in Ugarte, potentially a very strong midfield, a very strong defence. Onana had a fantastic end to the year. I think Shaw get quite a few clean sheets. Palmer. Going on to Palmer, I can't understand why you wouldn't have Palmer on your side, actually. Because Chelsea, again, you look at the first 9 fixtures, they've got City, Newcastle and Liverpool, but then in between, I think it's pretty much all like your relegation, lower table sides. And he's going to have a field day, especially against Man City at home as well. I reckon he even poach a little goal in that. They do have a difficult spell, looking like 8 weeks in, but I don't see how you can pass up on Palmer. The man is absolutely magical, and he just does it by himself. So 10.5 million, you've got to go for him. Salah, we've seen he's shaved his head. I think he means business this season. As you can see, over the last few seasons as well, since 2017-18, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons in the Premier League, he has banged them in. Absolutely bang them in. And to be honest with you, I can only see him doing the same again this year. He looks unbelievable. You look at him this last year, didn't have the greatest of years. I mean, it's probably his worst. It's his worst tally so far since he started in the FPL. But wow, what a talent! This man is going to be unreal this year. And I think to start off the year, he's got very easy fixtures. You look at this here, the first 6 weeks: Ipswich, Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth and Wolves. He's going to absolutely have a field day. So I've got him in the side. Gordon in there as well. I quite like Gordon. I really like Gordon. And he's just in there. I don't know if I can probably bring in... This might be my £5 million slot. This might be the one that I'm trying to get a bit of a bargain for. Try and find someone who's gone under the radar a little bit. But to start off with Southampton and Bournemouth and Wolves and Fulham and Everton in there as well, with Brighton in the first 9 weeks. I think Spurs, City and Chelsea being the only difficult games. Gordon's in there and I think he can make things happen. Gibbs White is in there for me. Forest have a beautiful start to the season. Look at that. Chelsea and Liverpool are the only difficult games. They're both away from home, but otherwise that is a wonderful start for Forest. So Gibbs White is in there. I think, as you can see here, 12 assists, 5 goals last year, 35 starts. He's a fantastic player. You can see his ICT index, which is your influence, creativity, and threat index, which is like where they combine the 3 and try and get maybe not an average, but they combine the 3 to get one value which shows overall how influential, creative and threat, like the index itself, the actual full-on value to compare against the rest of the your midfielders. Out of the 253 midfielders, he's ranked 15th in the league, and that is some going, considering you've got your De Bruyne's, your Bernardo Silva's, so on and so forth. So Gibbs White's in there for me. Maddison's been very good pre-season. Only 6.1% of people have chosen him, which I can't understand. He only got 117 points because he didn't manage to play the full season. It's all about the fitness with him, because we can see here he never gets through a full season. He's always out for a little bit with a few injuries, but for the last few years he's been magical. 100 points plus. I mean, you look at his expected assists, 6.23, expected goals, 6.53. His tally just falls short of the year before, but his first year at Tottenham, wow, what a player. And Tottenham have a pretty nice start. I mean, when you look at the first 9 again, you've only got your Newcastles and Arsenals, maybe United as well, that you think are a pretty tricky game for them. I think Maddison will be fantastic, and already pre-season looks on the ball. Watkins we've got in there as well. I don't see how you can not pick Watkins. He's been fantastic over the last few years, and last year was his standout season. He was on it. And again, Aston Villa, beautiful start to the year. Manchester United and Leicester and Arsenal being the only 2 tricky games for them. So you've got to punch your teams. You've got to get as many Aston Villa's players in there as well. Igor Thiago. So Igor Thiago, this man's come in 6 million. He's basically the replacement for Ivan Toney. If you look at how he plays, pre-season he's got a brace. He looks dangerous. He looks dangerous. Only 23 years of age. Not many people know about him. I reckon he might be the little sneaky Pete, the little sneaky player you get in there. 6 million. They do have a difficult first 9. Manchester United, Spurs, City, Liverpool, Palace at home is a decent game though. But in the first 9, you're looking for them to pick up a few. And then also, in and out up until game week 13, basically, is where they have some pretty nice fixtures. Back end as well will be nice for them. But Thiago Igor, remember the name, 6 million. I reckon he's a nice little shout. And then Nicholas Jackson I've got in there as well. Towards the end of last year, this man was scarily good. Scarily good. And he's only 7.5 million, which I can't quite understand. 4.1 points per game, 142 points overall. His ICT index makes him the 6th best striker out of 68. Only 3.8% of people have chosen him because I think it's a little bit of a meme. Everyone likes to hate on him, but 14 goals, 6 assists. I know he scored a lot of them in the back end of the season, but 18 expected goals because he was a bit shaky towards the start. He was a new signing, obviously. But I think if you look at him, he's probably going to pick up quite a few more goals this year because he's got to be the main striker. He's going to stay the main striker. And for 7.5 million, I don't think it's a bad shout. I don't think it's a bad pickup. So to me, this is my side. 0 budget left. I've not gone with Haaland yet, and that's why. I just think I've got a lot more to give here. There's a lot better players to really put into the side. You can really average out who's going to be a lot. Share the points around, I think is what I'm trying to say. But I think for me, this is probably the strongest side I could have, to be honest. And if you make Mo Salah captain, I think you can't really argue. Like, this is a very, very strong side. If you look at who you've got in the middle, you Maddison, Gibbs, White, Gordon, Palmer, Salah, who are all contributors to goals. Like, your Gordons, your Gibbs Whites might not get a goal or assist every game, but they're always going to crop up with something. Maddison, Palmer and Salah, well, Maddison and Palmer put on the same level to a degree. Palmer very, very good and penalty taker, as well as Maddison and your free kick taker, and then Salah's just unbelievable. Watkins, your main goal scorer. I'm going to use him as my Haaland to a degree. I need to get City players in here. I want to see a bit of City pre-season before I do that, but I think for now, that's how I'm going to run it. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to keep that nice and brief, keep it nice and short, under 15 minutes. That's my highlights there. You've seen some of the stats flicking through in the top right hand corner. You've seen the team that I've gone with, seen who I'm trying to play with here, and I think this is going to be a great year for me. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm going to look back on this, see if I've just gone back to my screen. I was going to see how I can actually phase into this, get a few players, get a watch list together of defenders to keep on the radar from looking at the preseason matches, your midfielders, your forwards, your goalkeepers, who to look out for, who's transfers in. Is Yoro a good shout? That's the thing I want to be looking at. Are United going to be playing him? So that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you are new. 240 sub managers. Let's try and get that up to 250. That's a new landmark for me. And yes, exciting stuff. So thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, as I keep saying. Subscribe if you are new. I want to build this channel up, try and get as many subscribers, sub managers as I can. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, stay humble, and I'll catch you in the next one. From me, Alex. Have a great day. Ciao.